Hey, this week we're going to talk about Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, the first movie in the Marvel Phase 2, and I understand you saw it just today.
I did see that movie.
Today?
I did, this morning.
What'd you think? What'd you think?
You know, I really don't even know why we're going to talk about Iron Man 3. I think it's a giant waste of our time. Let's face it, it's the #2 movie now of all time in opening weekend, so you already saw it. So by the time you see us blathering on about it, guess what? You either saw it or you've already decided to see it. There's nothing I'm going to tell you about Iron Man 3 that's going to make you want to see this movie. So, yeah, I don't know.
People care what we think, though.
Do they?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's at least 50 people that care what we think.
$65 million in China.
So?
I don't speak Mandarin.
We can make it $65 million and...
In China?
And 300.
All right. It was an interesting film. It was action-packed. It had a lot going on. I think some of those, I've already heard so many reviews from customers because, at Comics Cube, we get a lot of people that want to talk about this stuff. We've seen a lot of these guys in, and they're going on about how this is the greatest Iron Man movie ever. It's the best Avengers movie ever, and truthfully, it's not. That's the excitement of the moment coming across. Is it a good movie? Yeah. Is it a fun movie? Yeah. It's action-packed. There's explosions. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is hilarious, but it's not the best Iron Man movie. The first Iron Man movie is probably the best. I don't even know really that it was better than the second, but it was tight. I have a complaint though, really, and it kind of overshadowed.
I like to hear it.
It's too damn funny. It's too slapstick. There's the commercial, the previews led me to believe that this was going to be the deep, dark, somber Iron Man, kind of the coming of age, him growing up, and and everything that happened in the Avengers movie, and the previews lied. In fact, if anything, I was worried going in that it was going to be too dark, it was going to be too somber, it was going to be just a big depressing Iron Man film. And then when I got in, it was like a bait and switch. It almost felt like Harold and Kumar go to Iron Man at points. So it was a good movie. It was fun, but it got to the point where it was so fun that I thought it got a little over the top with some of the humor. And as much as you see all the cool Iron Man suits in the movie and you're waiting for that, that's as close as you're ever going to see any of those suits. I was a little disappointed in that.
Yeah, I'll and this is going to be spoiler heavy, so we're assuming if
you already saw it.
We're assuming you already saw it. I liked the movie quite a bit. I probably didn't think it was the greatest Iron Man movie there has been. I think probably.
What's your favorite?
I think 1 is still my favorite. But it's very different. It was a completely different type of movie than we're used to seeing in the superhero movies. It was very character driven. It was 70% Tony Stark, 30% Iron Man. You get to see a completely different type of superhero movie, I thought. And to me, as somebody who's a fan of film, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that this wasn't just Iron Man getting in his armor to save the day from something else that was also big that nobody else could possibly handle. What you said about the suits, though, also resonates with me as well, because to go so far as to say, he's been a recluse, he's done nothing but create all these different armors, 42 of them, for various reasons. And then when we do see the armors, it's dark outside, and they are doing nothing specifically. Each one, there's a Hulkbuster, there's an underwater one, there's one probably for Thor, but we don't see them do anything special per their suit. It could have been 42 identical Mark IIs.
I think you saw 2 suits do something. The Hulkbuster came in as a juggernaut and held up something giant. He even had struts or something come out of him to help hold up something. And something with jackhammers.
See, it was so dark I didn't even see that.
Yeah, there was a jackhammer guy, and he hit some scaffolding and some guys flew up.
I mean, that's the old...
It looked awesome.
That's the old crap moment in this movie, where you were like, all of a sudden, oh, holy cow, there's 42 suits of armor flying through the air, coming to save the day, and it's so dark you can't see them do anything, and what you do see is so quick. You see them, swoop in just in time, swoop in just in time, swoop in just in time. I'm falling. Here's a suit to get into. It takes the mystique out of Iron Man, when you've got 42 of them and they're doing their own thing. He's not even controlling them. They're on autopilot. And so that part of it I did not like. The character part, the hanging out with Tony Stark for an hour and a half, I really liked that. I was afraid when the kids showed up, thinking, oh crap, this is going to turn into something, kind of tongue-in-cheeky, even more than he's capable of, and make it so, this is all of a sudden it's an episode of It's Home Alone 5 or something like that. But it wasn't that bad, and I didn't dislike that at all. I don't know that it was necessary.
Getting back to what you talked about here, I think some of this is about Tony being a broken character at this point. He's losing his grip. He's got issues. There's some damage. He's a damaged human being. But at no point in time do they explain the damage. He's having these attacks. He's having anxiety. And he refers back to Avengers and what happened. But the director at no point in time, other than just giving you some very bare basics of him breaking down, just as he did in the preview. Again, it was already in the preview. To Pepper, I can't sleep. I can't do anything. Blah, 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 blah. The anxiety attacks. It's like, dude.
They did only have very short clips from Avengers showing him like falling out of the portal, and I think they could have gone a lot more into that with his nightmares and things, and what was like when he was having the nightmare and the suit of armor shows up and grabs hold of head of Pepper. I'd like to have seen what it was that was messing with him. Maybe I'll have to maybe watch the movie again because maybe they did show it, but if they did, it wasn't enough to show like a night terror or something. It wasn't enough to show why it is he's all of a sudden decided to go down in the basement and be there for 42 suits.
Yeah. For the amount of time dedicated to Tony being damaged and him being screwed up in the head and him obviously having these issues, there wasn't enough time explaining it to back it up to make me care. I took my wife, you know Chris, she's not a huge comic book fan, but she knows more than I would say the average comic book goer. And her only complaint was she actually said, for the very first time ever, I realize what it is that you think when you go to a movie, because I have a bad habit of trying to figure out movies instead of just sitting there and taking it in. I try to break them down and figure it out. Right. She goes, this was the most predictable film she has ever seen in her life. There was no drama at no point in time, including the big ending where Pepper's in peril and she, oh my God, and she's like, made nothing, no impact whatsoever, because I think even a 5-year-old could have seen, wait, she's been injected with the super thing, and so it was kind of ridiculous on some levels of that. So yeah, I needed it to be better explained, and not because I'm stupid, just because I think it's good filmmaking to explain why a character is doing what they're doing, what they're going through. Right. As for the kid thing and the whole middle sequence, I thought what kind of made that enjoyable was Tony Stark didn't change. It wasn't like, oh, now there's a cute kid, and I'm going to be his buddy and his best friend. He was just as rude and off the cuff to this child as he would have been to you or me or to any other character that he would have come across. There was never a change in pacing or dialogue.
To build up, to have the Mandarin, which is a classic character,
sure,
and they don't mention the rings at all. He doesn't do anything mystical at all.
Well, and that irritates me and aggravates me as a fan. Back when they did the very first Iron Man movie, before we knew about Cap, before we knew about Thor, before we knew the Avengers movie, that very first one, in the background, when he gets captured and makes the armor, it is mentioned that the Mandarin is somehow involved.
I think they just say 10 rings. They don't.
10 rings, all right.
They don't say
but to a
Mandarin.
hardcore fan, that only means one thing.
That's absolutely right.
So they were building towards it. It was there. The groundwork had been laid.
Right.
The second movie, we got nothing.
Right.
And I was expecting that the end thing, you would see some rings or another mention. And it just seems like, guys, you have figured out the golden way to connect movies in such a perfect way, and you blew it with Iron Man.
Yeah, I think that I would have liked to have seen, the Mandarin actually be the villain, and maybe he still is in my mind, and be the Joker to the Batman.
Gotcha.
I mean that's his big bad. And we did. Think how pissed you'd be if you went to a Batman movie and 3/4 of the way through it, you find out that the Joker is a puppet, or is a robot or an LMD or something like that. I mean, that would feel like ripoff. Again, this was done in a different way, and it was a curveball. I didn't see it coming at all.
I didn't either.
And luckily didn't look at any spoilers ahead of time, or anybody didn't throw any out there. So I enjoyed the twist, but looking at it as a whole, like you said, as a huge epic story arc, then I felt a little cheated in that. I didn't hate it, but I wish it had been different.
After the credits, there is another thing. I think it was much better than the Shawarma Avengers thing, but it is all the way through, and there's credits a mile long. So my recommendation to you is go to the bathroom that you've been holding it for 2.5 hours or whatever, then come back in and watch the end credits, because you're going to have plenty of time. You'll have time to sit through the line, get your popcorn refreshed, get another Coke, get back in to see the end thing, which I think is really, really pretty good. Then at the very end, even after that, and this isn't even one of those things where they did a couple seconds of credits or did the fake credits first to show you the big names, and then the after. There wasn't something like that. It's at the very end.
Right.
But then after that, they do one of the things that I absolutely love to see. And you know what? Spoilers. Screw it. I don't even care. Tony Stark will return.
Right.
Those simple words. I think they did it with Indiana Jones, I want to say.
Right,
Indy will return. I love that. It's just... It's a little nod to the fans. Yeah, we're coming back. Now, is it going to be Robert Downey Jr.? Don't know.
Again, I'll see it again. I would recommend anybody to see it. It is just a different type of Iron Man movie.
Great movie.
It's
really
a lot
is.
more James Bondy than
but for us to come out here and just say it's a great movie, that doesn't give us a lot to talk about. So we do have to point out the flaws. It's not like we've over-exaggerated the flaws, so we have something to talk about.
It's still...
the effects look great. He's great. Pepper Potts is great. You know who's something we did talk about?
Let's
get into this. Directed by the new director, but the director is Jon Favreau, the first two.
Right.
Jon Favreau did come back for a fairly extensive role and part. I'd say his role was bigger in this movie than it had been. Mm-hmm. Plus, the director made him wear a mullet in the opening scene, which was hilarious. Right. I mean, it's not even supposed to be, I don't think, but you know, I am laughing. I was the only one laughing in the theater.
He called it a mullet
when he walked up. Did he?
No,
he does.
Downey does.
Yeah, but I mean, before he says that, I'm laughing just because I know that's the director of the first two movies.
All I can think is, man, he's put on a lot of weight.
He did look a little heavy. But then again, he's been eating Iron Man money. So
we'll be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Probably something great. Probably something awesome. Hopefully, we'll have another product.
Doctor Who.
I'm gonna go buy something and then bring it on here as a product placement. It's not really how it works, but that's what I'm gonna do. We're not gonna talk about Doctor Who. Hey, thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. And then Shawn does that.